Imagine a world so consumed by chaos and violence that the only solution was to start over from scratch. This isn't just an ancient legend, it's the ultimate survival epic that has echoed through every culture for thousands of years. 10 generations after the first humans walked the earth, the world had spiraled into total darkness. The Bible tells us that every inclination of the human heart was only evil all the time. Imagine a society with no law, no peace, and no hope. But in the middle of this widespread corruption lived one man named Noah. He wasn't perfect, but he was righteous in a world that had forgotten what that meant. God looked down and saw that the creation he loved was broken beyond repair, so he made a terrifying, heart-wrenching decision. He would bring a catastrophic flood to wipe the slate clean. But he didn't want to destroy humanity entirely. He gave Noah a mission that sounded absolutely insane to anyone watching. God commanded him to build a massive wooden vessel, an ark, constructed of gopher wood and sealed with pitch. This wasn't a sleek boat designed for sailing, it was a giant floating chest designed for one thing: survival. Can you imagine the scene? For decades, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, labored under the hot sun. The scale was enormous: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. That's roughly 1.5 football fields long and several stories high. The neighbors must have mocked him relentlessly. Think about it: a man building a ship the size of a modern cargo vessel in the middle of dry land, miles away from any major body of water, while warning of a coming disaster that no one had ever seen before. For years, the sound of hammers hitting wood and the smell of boiling pitch filled the air. Noah wasn't just a builder, he was a preacher of righteousness, pleading with people to change their ways, but his words fell on deaf ears. Then the day of reckoning finally arrived. God told Noah it was time. Suddenly, animals began to arrive, not by Noah's strength, but by divine instinct. Pairs of every kind of creature, from the mightiest lions to the smallest insects, marched into the ark. Once Noah's family was inside, the Bible says something chilling. God himself shut the door. Then the sky didn't just leak, it broke. The fountains of the great deep burst open, and the windows of heaven were unstopped. It was a dual assault of water from the earth below and the sky above. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain was relentless. Every city, every forest, and every mountain peak was eventually swallowed by the rising tide. The world as they knew it ceased to exist. Inside the ark, the experience must have been overwhelming. The constant roar of the storm, the motion of the massive vessel on the waves, the sounds of thousands of animals, and the heavy silence of knowing they were the only survivors. For months, they floated in a vast, lonely graveyard of water. The ark was a tiny speck of life in a world of death. When the rain finally stopped, the water didn't just vanish. It took months for the levels to recede. Noah sent out a raven which flew back and forth until the waters dried up. Then he sent a dove, which returned because it found no place to rest. 7 days later, he sent the dove again, and this time it returned with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. That tiny leaf was the first sign of a new world. Finally, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. When Noah finally stepped out onto dry ground, the world was completely transformed. It was quiet, fresh, and empty. The first thing Noah did was build an altar to give thanks to the Creator who had carried them through the storm. In response, God made a covenant with Noah and all living things. He placed a brilliant rainbow in the clouds as a sign of his promise. Never again would a flood destroy the entire earth. This story is more than just an ark and animals. It's a story of faith against all odds, the heavy weight of justice, and the incredible power of a second chance. It's the moment humanity was reset, and the journey of the Bible truly began anew. If you want to follow this epic 20-part journey through the greatest stories ever told, make sure to hit that follow button right now. Drop a comment with your favorite part of Noah's journey, and share this with someone who needs to know that even after the biggest storms, there is always a rainbow waiting. See you in the next episode.